Story 1, Fortnite Season 3, big update. But also, and we'll dive into some more of the multiplayer seasons and kind of our impressions and opinions of that. But let's start with Fortnite 3.0, because that's the big thing, right? It's like, that's what's leading us to talk about all this. And it's big. There's a lot of people playing Fortnite right now. We knew it was coming up because the Battle Pass was counting down the days. Right, you literally knew they how long.
They were like, here's how long your Battle Pass is going to last.
Now they actually say like so-and-so weeks. But in like the 2.0, it was just 150 days. Not really, but or whatever it was.
Right.
It counted down the days from jump, and it was...
Right, it was however many days.
Yeah.
In your Battle Pass, and that's how you knew you were coming to the end.
Right. So, I mean, I guess right away the first big change is the Battle Pass was increased from 70 to 100. It's still the same price of $10, roughly. It's more like $9, but you can't buy $9 worth of currency, you know?
Oh, so right. So
you end up left over with like 50.
A little bit.
Yeah, you have 50 left over. But yeah, so the first right away, 100 tiers of stuff to unlock in the Battle Pass, and some pretty cool skins and things that came along with that. This one's all kind of like space themed, where the last one was like Royal Knight themed.
Okay, so they're continuing with the themed idea.
Right. Right away at tier 1, you get the mission specialist, which is basically just like an orange astronaut costume. Yeah. You got a helmet.
Classic
spaceman.
Yeah.
And then at tier 7, you get the sawtooth pickaxe, which is just a variation of like a normal pickaxe. It's a little nicer than just like the stock one you get. It's got like a saw in the back, and the front one's a chisel. So, after tier 7, the next big thing, tier 15, you get the rainbow glider, and it's very My Little Pony-esque. It's kind of goofy, kind of fun. Which, I mean, they kind of did the same thing in season 2.
It's a rainbow glider
with the sparkle glider.
Right.
The get down. Which is all disco ball-y. But then at tier 20, you get the Rainbow Skydiving Trail, which is the first equipable contrail you get. So as you're like flying in, you'll now have like a trail.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Like come off your arms and legs, and
it's
so,
a rainbow. Yeah,
it's a rainbow. Yeah, and then at tier 23 is when you really get the next costume, and it's the Rust Lord. Which is kind of a play off of the Star-Lord from Guardians of the Galaxy.
It's kind of like a post-apocalyptic Star-Lord instead of...
Right. I mean, they ripped it off as best they could without making it obviously Star-Lord.
Right.
There's a bunch of banner icons and stuff through there. At tier 31, you get the Take the L dance, which is basically like they put the L thing, and he's doing some like dances on it. So it's pretty salty kind of stuff. At tier 36, you get the Ultramarine Skydiving Trail. It's basically a shiny blue one instead of being all rainbow colored. It's kind of celestial looking, kind of groovy.
That's actually pretty. That sounds kind of cool.
Yeah. Then you get some more emotes and stuff. At tier 39, you get a carbon glider, which is like an urban camo on a basic glider. At tier 46, you get the EVA harvesting tool, which looks like something for fixing spaceships. At tier 47, you get the Astro back bling, which is basically like, the like oxygen tank backpack thing for like astronauts. Just kind of finishes out the look and you put it on your back.
So that's just like an attachment to I got the orange one already.
Right.
I can throw this cool backpack on.
It's just like a little extra thing to put like on your back.
Yeah.
It's just more cosmetic stuff, right? So that's another thing they've opened up. They've added
another level of customization. Get it?
Yeah. At tier 50, you'll get the All-Star skydiving trail. It's got stars. Tier 55, you get the Moonwalker, which is like the female version of the mission specialist, with a nicer, like white, kind of like very, Apollo style.
Right.
Spacesuit.
Non-orange classic style.
Right. At tier 68, you'll get the Bubble skydiving trails, which...
Self-explanatory.
Yeah.
It's bubbles.
Yeah.
Bubbles fly behind you instead of stars.
At tier 40, or tier 70, you'll get the Dark Voyager outfit, which is kind of... It's like a black astronaut suit, something kind of like out of Dead Space, or...
It's futuristic.
Kind of sci-fi.
Kind of cool. Yeah, it's exactly. It's sci-fi
And then at 71, you get the Dark Matter back bling, which is just the same like backpack thing
black.
that matches the
Right.
the suit. Keep going down to 84, you get tier 79, you get the trusty number 2, which is like a black hammer with a pencil on it. It's a harvesting tool.
Oh, that's kind of nice.
Yeah,
Okay.
so it's kind of funny.
The number 2 makes
trusty
sense now,
number 2. And then at 84, you'll get the flame skydiving trail, which looks really neat with your astronaut suit. And you're like re-entering orbit.
Yeah, exactly.
87, you'll get the elite agent, which is dark camo pants, black ninja
mask,
looking.
Yeah. It's like a cool. It definitely doesn't fit with the like last 3 space ones they've had, but
Right. It's after you get past like 70, you're like in the top tier ish area, and so you start getting things that
these
are
aren't
like
the basic stuff
excessive.
anymore.
Right.
Yeah, these are This is advanced.
Because then at like 95, you'll get the robot dance, which is like, I mean, I guess that finishes out
That
your
does kinda
space
finish.
set. Yeah. But then at tier 100, excuse me, you get the Reaper, which is very obviously John Wick.
Yes. It's a John Wick outfit. You're in a black suit with a black tie and a black shirt.
And you got like a scar on your eye.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I mean,
It's like a hey, I'm John Wick
which goes along with your
is
trusty
cool.
number 2, killing people with pencils.
with pencils.
Yeah. So that's just some of the nice cosmetics and things they've added. There's also a huge list of patch changes. They've added in the hand cannon, which it was funny because last week I was playing with some friends and I noticed that the Magnum was taking medium ammo. Like it actually shot like
Medium.
basically a rifle.
Right.
Like,
Right. It shot medium
Rifle
rounds. Yeah.
and I was like, next thing you know, they're gonna add like some kind of huge Desert Eagle that's gonna shoot
Right.
sniper bullets. And what do you know? It's
They
right here.
did
The
that.
next day, the like announcement came out that they were putting in the hand cannon. And I was like, really? Like, but yeah. So it shoots.
heavy ammo. That's funny.
it
I'm
shoots
surprised
sniper
you do
rounds.
that. Yeah.
So it's got a good bit of range as far as damage fall off, but of course it's terrible bloom. So you
Right.
don't want to use it
You're gonna
that
have
far.
pretty limited use in that. I feel like
It's
ultimately.
very slow rate of fire, but it like one of my squad mates got a like 175 to the head with it. Yeah, did 175 damage to the head. So I mean, it's definitely
It's sniper.
It's
It's
another
a-
like mid game alternative.
It's like, oh, I don't have a sniper rifle, but I buy a bunch of heavy ammo, so
right.
let me use it.
The other huge update that this added was 60 frames per second on not just the Xbox One X and PS4 Pro, but the base models
Right.
as well. So your PS4 and your normal Xbox One will be able to now run the game at 60 frames. It has like a lower resolution, like a lower texture, you know, the kind of like medium graphics
medium
at
graphics,
longer
right,
range,
right,
but
right.
still up close, you're not going to notice any of that difference. I typically only notice it when I'm flying in. You'll see like things are a little more blocky than they were before.
I think the
but,
only difference you're gonna notice is that it should look a little bit better, to be honest.
well, I mean, it's just like you still can see people far away, right? You can
Right.
still
Oh, I
see
see what
their
you're
little
saying,
thing
yeah.
moving, but like the textures farther away are now,
A little bit lower,
flatter,
I get it,
yeah.
But who cares? I mean, you're getting a better frame rate. I think that's worth it.
right. It really, your bullet registry will hit quicker. It feels like chests now are, faster because
Right.
it's just like cranking through that, like hold down X button or whatever, square or whatever you press on whatever your console is. So they also added colorblind options, which is really nice for people that need that, and it's an accessibility thing that, frankly, I was surprised wasn't in there to begin with. But now it's in there, so feel free to check out Fortnite Season 3 if you're into Fortnite. If you're not into it, now's a good time to jump in, buy you a Battle Pass, because you're not going to be jumping in mid-season. Now it's the beginning of the season, you've got 9 weeks ahead of you for you to finish this all out, and it's a lot of fun. It's a free game, might as well, right?
Yeah.
It's $10 for the Battle Pass.
$10, yeah. Well, not
Gives you like a-
$10 battle pass, but
They said it'll take about 75 to 150 hours to complete the Battle Pass. So for $10, I mean, come on. It's not bad.
if you put 75 hours into it, it's not bad. Yeah,
Right.
for sure.
If
It's
you
a good
want to,
deal.
yeah. So, but with that, we wanted to kind of discuss how the whole season model kind of has come into the forefront. Because games have been doing it for a while. Like StarCraft has been doing it for nearly a decade. I feel like, and And then other games had more of these like soft season type things that you saw, like even back on Xbox 360, where you kind of expected these patch changes, like
Right.
Call of Duty would do patch changes with the release of DLCs, which kind of created what I call like a soft season.
I can see that. Yeah.
Where like the meta kind of shifts around, people start using different things, and they just kind of formalized it now with the whole
Seasons.
season model, you know, and that gives you like that whole idea of like, okay, at the end of the season, my rank's going to reset. I'm going to be able to go in, and now with this new meta, hopefully I'll do better.
I mean, that's it. So it's like, I think the whole point of the seasons is that they can change the meta of the game, and people can kind of get a fresh start.
Right.
I think it depends on the game, how fresh that start is. I know Blizzard does take into account your play from previous seasons in giving you your ranking system for the current season or the next season or whatever.
Right.
So, you know,
What, with Overwatch?
Yeah, with Overwatch, with all of them, like Overwatch, StarCraft, Heroes of the Storm. Mm-hmm. It does take in your previous rank into consideration because,
Right.
I mean, why wouldn't it? It would be stupid if it didn't. So, but it still gives you a little bit of a clean start. You still have to go through your placement matches again. You still have to, you know, earn your position back to a certain extent.
Right.
And
To say, oh, it wasn't just a fluke that you made it to Diamond.
right, exactly.
Yeah.
Right. If you're in Diamond, you know, and then you do terrible in your placement matches, you're gonna have to make your way back into Diamond again.
Right.
And I think it makes the season system. I would think you and I agree that it does make sense for competitive games.
Right. So I am on board with seasons. I think it's a great idea. I think that some people will kind of miss that kind of lifetime achievement of, oh, I've climbed this high over the lifespan of this game. And I feel like they don't take that into account in games anymore. Like there is.
Well, I would disagree in the sense of Blizzard does still, at least with the Blizzard games, you have your seasons, which are only competitive, but then you still have your level. Like you're still level whatever. So whatever it like your prestige, it's like however much time and experience you've incurred is still there. Like you can still see that. So it's like you're still whatever level you are.
Yeah.
But then your season, which I agree with you. Like I think there are some games where the season just wipes everything clean.
Right.
Which I think it makes more sense to have. Okay, here's your lifetime achievements, because some people don't like competitive. Some people don't even want to think or care about that.
Right.
So those people still want to have a sense of like, okay, you know, I'm doing something. This is going somewhere.
Right. Like if you look at Rocket League, there is nothing to say like, this is how I've done in previous seasons besides like, oh, I got this chest that gave me this thing.
So it's like, oh, I can go look it up on a tracker, but the game itself doesn't do anything.
Tell you. It's like when the season resets, you have to be replaced. You have to do your matches. You have to.
You're starting from fresh.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I think it depends on who you talk to. And I'm on board because I'm not, like, a hugely competitive player. Like, I'm definitely not a pro. You know, I'm not MLG or any of that shit. And I don't ever claim to be that great at games. So to me, I'd look at a season as a fresh start to be like, oh, okay, well, now maybe I can do better this time.
Right.
Or I can try better or focus more on this because I know this change happened. And see, like, maybe because there was this shotgun meta that was going on in Destiny. This season I'll do better because I prefer to play snipers. Like,
and I think I think what you're getting at is a good point. Like that's what makes seasons enjoyable, and I think that's why you have to hit the right balance of like while keeping the people who are really good happy in the sense of you don't want to have to make them start over every single time. I don't personally feel because then it feels like, oh, what is all this effort that I have to put into. It's about striking a good balance, I think, and
for sure,
between both casual people and guys who are really, really super serious. And I don't know what the best answer to that is. I really personally do like the way Blizzard has done that. I think that for me personally, I've played a good amount of Blizzard games, and I just enjoy the way that you both get a sense of accomplishment when a new season starts, because you're like, well, how am I going to rank myself? Like you said, how am I going to do better this season than I did last.
Right.
How can I make myself better? Whereas with the Rocket League type system, I feel like that hurts. That doesn't hurt those people. Those people still get that sense of like, oh, I can do better this season than I did last. But it hurts the people who
climbed the ladder
and spent all this time and effort, and it's like now I have to start from ground zero once again. That kind of, I don't know. But maybe they don't mind that. I don't know. Some people love that type of stuff. So
yeah, I mean, it does kind of hurt because it's happened to me with Rocket League where I went, because I'm not good at Rocket League, and I don't claim to be good at Rocket League. Like, I know I'm pretty trash. I've had to disable my chat because like
people get very well. We'll talk about that in the next story about how people act.
But it's like, okay, I made it to like gold, and I was like pleased with that one season, and then I went to reset and I was back at bronze because like I hadn't touched the game in a while, and I came back, did my placement matches, and was like trash again. And so I mean, I've seen it and I felt it, and like maybe it is a good thing though, because maybe I didn't need to be playing against gold tier people, because I probably wouldn't have had a good time.
I think that's fair too. So yeah, it's a like we said, it's about finding that balance. I think that's.
Now, is it something that you think cosmetics are like a good reward? Like, how do you feel like people get that balance when you do kind of reset back to zero? Like, how do you, because really like the most common thing I've seen is like, here's some kind of cosmetic item that says like, you've done well, here's what you get. And then it's something you can kind of like wear with pride that I did well, but it's still
just a cosmetic. But I would argue, yes, that is more. Honestly, I think that's more than enough, because with the season system and with the ranking system within that, I think it's the type of thing where you just have to find it within yourself, the pride of like, this is how well I played, this is how well I did. I think that's just something you can't expect a reward for just everything you do. The reward, playing the game well in and of itself is the reward. For this, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I think what I think is like what's the tier system is that is the reward. When you go from a bronze to a silver, or when you go from a gold to a platinum, or what have you, or a platinum to a diamond. It's the fact that when you watch the symbol change and you go, fuck yes, like yes, I did that, like yes. I earned this,
Right.
I think that's where the sense of...
But at what point is it discouraging when you start a new season and you do your placement matches, you're lower than you were, and then you're like, well,
what's the point?
I worked all last season, I made it up to gold rank, and now I'm back down to bronze, and now I have to, like, do I even want to really go through this again?
Right, that's why I think it's weird to reset people from the very bottom. Like, I think that you need to carry over. There needs to be carryover from previous
some
games.
Kind of like algorithm that mixes the two of like how you did versus how you're doing now,
right?
And yeah, so,
like how you would judge a sports athlete. You don't judge them by just last season. You judge them by
their career,
the last 5 years or their entire career or what have you.
Right. I mean, I don't know. I think seasons are nice, growing up, not having it, and just coming from playing Halo in my basement, against the same 7 people that lived in my neighborhood, doing LAN parties in our basement, to now having online matchmaking, which then turned into online season play. It's definitely a nice growth and a nice direction that I think multiplayer has taken. But I like to see the change, and I like to see that, it's got direction at least, and it kind of creates a community of like, okay, I'm this tier, maybe I need to try to be this tier, so you then kind of watch the people that are. And
well, you know what though, I'll say this, that you saying that just made me think of a negative that does go along with the whole season and ranking system, is prejudice against low rank people.
Right.
I don't think that there's like necessarily anything wrong with not wanting to necessarily play with low-ranked people in your team, but there is definitely like a certain mentality that like, oh, you're not this rank at least, okay, your opinion means nothing. And it's like, Also, another thing that goes along with that is the high rank, the toxicity within the higher ranks. And I think Rocket League is probably the best possible example of that.
We'll get to that.
And we will get to that. But so I think there are some negatives to it, like that. Like both of those, I think, are potential negatives that go along. It depends on your community, I think, in a lot of cases.
Yeah, I definitely feel like it kind of has created this division between like the people that play all the time and then the people that play casually, and so now you have this hardcore versus casual kind of mindset now. That's one of the reasons why I haven't bought Overwatch yet, is because I feel like at this point I'm too far behind, and it's just going to be a bunch of people yelling in my ear that I don't know what I'm doing, and I don't have like a full team of people to play with, and that's the only way I would want to play Overwatch.
I would think Overwatch is actually one of those games where it's not as big of a deal, because not necessarily in the competitive sphere, but because there's also a very active non-competitive community that you can get lots of fun out of the game without ever stepping in competitive.
Right, but it still has steered me away from games like League of Legends.
League of Legends, yeah. Rocket League to a certain extent.
Rocket League, you own it, yeah. I mean, I've uninstalled it 3 times.
Right. I mean, Rocket League is one of the most like extremely frustrating.
Love-hate relationship.
Right, exactly. It is really a love-hate game.
So,
people love Rocket League. I'm not saying anything against it. It's a great concept. It's just the community can be very... I know watching people take it seriously. People get really serious when they're on the higher tiers, and they will get very angry about people not making mistakes.
And sometimes even when they jump in casual matches, they'll forget, that they're in a casual match just because they have that like, oh, I can't believe you missed that shot, like teammates trash uninstall.
Right, exactly. The mentality. It's that mentality of like, I'm just so much better than you.
Well, it's like, dude, that's why I'm playing casuals. Don't freak out on me if I'm playing a casual match. But I don't know. I feel like there is a good and bad side to it. I think there's more good than bad, and we'll talk more about the bad in the next story.
Yeah, but we would love to get your guys' opinion on, our season's good thing for games. I mean, our season's something that make gaming more enjoyable, or is it something that kind of just leads to more toxic environments? So
let us know your thoughts. Comment, like, subscribe. Shoot us a tweet. Do all of it.
Seriously, though, on Twitter, on YouTube, let us know what you guys think.